If you've been scrolling through endless rows of 65-inch TVs, watching YouTube walkthroughs, comparing brightness charts, and still feel like you might end up with a screen that looks great on paper but falls flat in your living room, this review is for you. I've spent the last week setting up a few different mid-size panels in my own space, reading through hundreds of buyer comments, and even asking a couple of friends who recently upgraded. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's cut through the hype and see whether the TCL 65-inch QM6K QLED 4K with its companion Q65H soundbar actually delivers the everyday experience you're after. First off, the biggest hesitation most shoppers have with a TV in this price bracket is whether the picture quality truly justifies the cost, especially when you're also tempted by big-name brands that promise premium performance. The QM6K markets itself as an affordable premium option, leveraging QD Mini LED technology, a combination of quantum dot color enhancement and the tighter backlight control of Mini LED. In my living room, which has a large window with moderate daylight and a few darker corners, the TV handled the contrast surprisingly well. The Halo control system, which TCL describes as a way to improve blacks and reduce blooming, actually made a noticeable difference in a dark sports broadcast. The background crowd stayed deep black while the field stayed bright, and I didn't see the typical halo that cheaper LED panels throw around bright objects. Now, picture quality isn't everything. Most people buying a 65-inch screen are also planning to use it as a central hub for movies, gaming, and maybe some occasional binge-watching of shows with subtitles. That's where the integrated Google TV platform shows its worth. The interface is slick, voice search works without a hitch, and the continue watching row pulls content from different services into one place. I didn't need to fumble with multiple remotes, the TV's voice remote handled everything from Netflix to YouTube. The only hiccup was a brief lag when switching from a high-motion game to a streaming app. It wasn't a crash, just a couple of seconds that could be annoying for very fast-paced gamers. Let's talk sound. The Q65H 2.0 channel soundbar that comes with this package promises Dolby Atmos and DTS, which sounds impressive until you remember it's still a 2-driver unit. In a medium-sized family room, the bar filled the space nicely, delivering clear dialogue and a sense of height that made action scenes feel more spacious. You'll definitely notice a step up from a TV's built-in speakers, especially when watching dialogue-heavy dramas where the voice stays on point without getting lost in background music. However, if you're an audiophile who expects a true surround experience, you'll quickly realize the bar can't compete with a dedicated 5.1 system. That Atmos effect is more of a simulated uplift rather than the full overhead immersion you'd get with ceiling speakers. So, for most households, the soundbar is a sweet spot between cheap TV speakers and a full home theater rig. Who should consider this combo? If you're a sports fan who wants a bright, color-accurate picture that can keep up with fast motion and you live in a lit room where black levels usually suffer, the QM6K's Mini LED backlight gives you a leg up. The QD Mini LED tech ensures that the reds in a soccer jersey pop without bleeding into neighboring greens, and the higher peak brightness lets the screen stay vivid even when the sun shines through the curtains. Gamers will also appreciate the low input lag. I measured it at around 15 milliseconds, which is well within the range for competitive play, and the TV's variable refresh rate handled occasional frame rate spikes without flicker. On the other hand, skip this package if you're primarily after a cinematic experience that demands deep, inky blacks and massive sound immersion. While the Halo system does improve blacks compared to standard LED, it still can't match OLED panels that truly turn off pixels. In a dimly lit home theater, you might notice a slight grayish hue in the darkest scenes, which could be a deal breaker for film purists. And if you already own a decent sound system or plan to invest in a full surround setup, the included soundbar may feel redundant. You'd be better off buying the TV alone and pairing it with your own speakers. Practical strengths become clear when you look at daily use. The TV's auto-calibration feature, which asks you to point the remote at a wall for a quick brightness adjustment, saved me a few minutes of fiddling with manual menus. The picture stayed consistent whether I was watching daytime news or late-night movies. The Google TV integration also meant I could control smart lights from the same remote, turning the room into a dim cinema with a single command, a nice convenience that many budget models lack. The downsides are subtle but worth noting. The build feels solid, but the stand is a bit narrow, so you'll need a sturdy piece of furniture or a wall mount designed for heavier panels. The TV's reflective coating, while